much quicker than expected. But remember, this is an insurgency, and these insurgents are extremely patient.
The first wave of Marines boarded helicopters from their base, Camp Bastion, in Regional Command South. They began their push into Taliban-held territory, doing in a matter of hours what NATO troops hadn't been able to do in months.
The aim of the air assault was to put Marine Corps forces back expeditionary-wise out behind enemy lines. We dropped into a few places that nobody had been.
The operation began shortly after midnight, with the 1st Battalion being airlifted into Nawa District, south of Helmand Province's capital. Then at dawn, the next battalion was inserted by Chinook helicopter and ground transport into Garmsir District, further south along the Helmand River Valley.
We've been able to squeeze the whole river valley at the same time. It's really disrupting their ability to reinforce any area, because every area is under pressure at the same time, which buys us that time to establish ourselves in the community, meet the elders, and start working closely with people before the Taliban can regroup and figure out what their next step's going to be.
The Marines said they were operating under new guidelines from their commanders not to use excessive air power. They were told to use extra caution to avoid civilian casualties.
So far, we don't have any reports of civilian casualties, and we have not used any indirect fire in this. We know artillery has been fired, and we have not used any, we haven't dropped any bombs from aircraft.
Although the new U.S. commander in Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal, has not decided yet whether to recommend an increase in manpower as he continues his counterinsurgency review, President Obama said today he has no plans to authorize more troops.
The benchmarks of success that we've laid out are we building an Afghan national army and police structure that can secure itself without the assistance of NATO forces or U.S. forces? Is Pakistan able to maintain its borders so that Al-Qaeda or affiliates aren't operating there? And I think those goals can be achieved without us increasing our troop levels.
The Marines say that they are going to stay to clear, hold, and build the area, and the Afghan civilian population is going to be waiting to see if, in fact, they do stay for a long period of time, and some tell us that that may require more troops. Chris?
And Jennifer, what do we know about an American soldier who's gone missing this week in another part of Afghanistan?
What we know is it was a private first class who was serving out in Paktika province. That's in the eastern sector near Pakistan. He was at a combat outpost, and what is interesting, we're hearing from U.S. officials that he may have been disaffected and he may not have been of sound mind when he left this combat outpost on Tuesday. He left behind his weapon, he left behind his body armor. It's a very mysterious disappearance. He is assumed to be kidnapped by a Taliban faction, but the latest U.S. intelligence does not tell us which faction is holding him. The latest from those intelligence officials, they aren't sure who is holding him. They have fanned out across Paktika province. They're offering tens of thousands of dollars for any information that could lead to finding this soldier. But again, he's assumed to be kidnapped tonight. He's the first U.S. soldier to be held hostage in Afghanistan since the war began, Chris.
Jennifer Griffin reporting from the Pentagon. Jennifer, thanks for that.